Honorable members, again, you're welcome to the
Morning, Chair. Morning, Chair. Morning, Chair.
good morning, Mandisa. You're warmly welcome again, though we had you physically, and it was a pleasure to meet you. You're welcome to the committee. Honorable members, there's the agenda as you've been welcomed. Can we observe a moment of silence for meditation or prayer? Amen, and thank you. Koliswa, can we note apologies?
Good morning, Chairperson, and good morning, members, and to our guest. I've received an apology from Member Heron and also from the Deputy Minister, Ms. Pam Tshwane. She's on compassionate leave due to the passing off of the bereaved sister, and also the MEC for the Western Cape. Thank you, Chairperson.
Okay, thank you, Koliswa. The honorable members, can we move for the adoption of the agenda? The purpose of the meeting today is to get a progress report on the Northwest Housing Corporation and City of Tshwane on the petition that we've received from the Mr. Hasaho and the 3 other members from Northwest, and then the progress report on the Breede Valley Municipality and the Western Cape Human Settlement Department on the petition that was submitted by the councillor. The name is gone. So those are the 2 issues that we have. Mangali, yes. 2 items that we appeared on our program. Can we move for the adoption of the agenda? Can we get the mover?
I move, Chair.
Mandisa, Honorable Mandisa moved. Can we get the seconder?
I second, Chair.
Thank you very much. Honorable members,
Chair,
yes.
Let's correct this. It must be in a professional and procedural way. People must raise their hand so that we feel your authority. You call them, they can say whatever they say. Otherwise, there will be interruption throughout. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, there is an icon where we raise our hands. Let's do that so that we become procedural. Thank you very much, Honorable Chris. Honorable members, as I've indicated, we have today we have invited the Department of Human Settlement. I'm not sure who's leading the delegation. I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves and introduce who is here, and even from the Northwest and Western Cape. Department.
Good morning, Honorable Chairperson, honorable members, CEO of Northwest Housing Corporation, and my colleagues from Western Cape Province, and in the department. My name is Simbisiwe Mbongo. I'm the acting DG. I am accompanied from the department by Mr. Paul Masimola, who's head of our legal services and also PLO. Mr. Vusi Chose, who's a director in our IGR. Ms. Pamela Dilly, who's acting chief director, transversal programs. And downstairs, Chairperson, we've got members of Ga-Rankuwa and Mabopane residents. Those are the petitioners. We've got them in our department in the main boardroom downstairs. Thank you, Chairperson.
Good morning, Honourable Chairperson and Honourable Members. It's Mr. Louis Verhoeven from the Department of Human Settlements, Western Cape Department. I am the regional planner responsible for the Cape Winelands District. Thank you.
Good morning, Chairperson. My name is Johan Metler. I'm the city manager at the city of Tshwane. I'm also accompanied by the executive mayor, executive mayor Makwarela, and I'm also accompanied by a senior staff member in our Human Settlements Department, Ms. Nonto Memela. Thank you.
Good morning, honorable members and colleagues. My name is Grace Mushwewu. I'm from the Northwest Housing Corporation. I'll be joined by the CEO of the corporation. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Chairperson, honorable members. My name is Simpiwa Mayeki. I'm from the Breede Valley Municipality, Human Settlements.
Comrade
Hello,
Koliswa.
Chairperson. Chairperson.
Yes, Koliswa. Breede Valley Municipality, where's the mayor and because we didn't have an apology, and the city manager?
Chairperson, the city manager is Mr. Johan Metler, and the executive mayor is Dr. Marunwa. They're both currently on the call, as was introduced by the city manager.
Oh, they are on the system. They've joined us in this meeting.
Yes, Chair. Mr.
Okay.
Johan Metler is the city manager. He just spoke and introduced himself along with the executive mayor.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you very much. You're welcome to the meeting too. I'll now give the department opportunity to give an introductory remark, and before the flag, and we have received the presentation yesterday, the one for the Breede Valley, and the Northwest will have received it today in the morning. And can we get explanation why do we receive the documents today and yesterday late? Acting DG.
Chairperson, I raise my hand.
Okay, Honorable Zeki.
And I just want to check if I missed the introduction of any political authority from Northwest.
We didn't have any.
I assume there was an expectation, Chair, but I think we should take note of that. In my view, there should have been someone, maybe as the DG explains, will explain as well that process. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. DG, acting DG.
Chairperson, I'm here. Thank you. The report was received late from our stakeholders. May I request, Chairperson, through your permission, that the owner of the presentations, they respond to that question. Thank you.
Excuse me, Chairperson, may I be allowed to respond?
Yes.
Ma'am, we provided the presentation as soon as we were instructed by our leadership, and it was provided to the HOD as quickly as possible. Unfortunately, it may have reached your offices a bit late. We do apologize for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's that? Who's speaking?
It's Mr. Louis Velgemoot. I'm the regional manager or regional planner responsible for the Cape Winelands district. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Northwest. Northwest, can we get why did we receive the presentation in the morning? Members, there is no response from Northwest. Let me get hands for members talking about this presentation, whether you were able to go through them or. Can I get the hands from members?
I'm struggling to raise my hand.
Okay,
Honorable
Malachi.
Yeah, my apologies, Chair, for just coming in. I've been trying to raise my hand, but I'm struggling. But I get a sense here, Chair, that we have a problem of the center not holding between the acting DG, the NT that must present, and the HOD, because one is that members cannot just receive a presentation on the day of the committee or maybe a night before. It will be unfair on them because they are not given enough time to prepare to fully participate in this committee meeting. Now, I think someone must take responsibility, because if we allow it to continue this way, the next time another department comes and they have the same problem, we will not have the authority to call them to order because we will not be consistent. Now, there must be, if it means that, Chair, we must summon the Northwest leadership, political and administrative leadership to come forward on certain issues, that must be done as a committee, because we can't continue this way. Thanks, Chair.
Any other hands, members?
Mercy, Floyd, Chairperson. My hand is up.
Ms. Khai. Somebody says, oh, Ms. Khai. Honorable Sehlwai.
Hey, good morning. Morning, members. I have a problem with of my hand visibility. I think I want to agree with the honorable member of just spoken, Honorable Colin, but I do want us to get to Northwest responding on the question. Northwest introduced themselves as present in the meeting. The question that the chair is asking, why the report arrived late? Because they cannot keep quiet, because the other presenters have presented their problem. And Northwest should do the same. Then we take a decision on the basis of that. It's my view, Chair, that the meeting needs to be respected by Northwest. Thank you, Chairman.
Honorable Malematsa.
No, thank you, Chair. I think in the absence of a convincing reasons why the report is late, and for the fairness of our existence as a committee that's supposed to be respected, I don't think it will be proper and good for us to interrogate something that we just get it in the last minute and think we have done fair, if not justice to the matter. Chairperson, with due respect, I think Northwest must be sent back with their report and some steps from the chair be taken to this comrade. They are taking it for granted. We have left a number of things to come to this committee pertaining this matter. We are running a country, we are not running a spaza of some sort. Therefore, we cannot be disrespected this way and leave it this way or set a wrong precedent. People will time and again bring their things last minute. Other entities, other departments, they cooperate, they bring things earlier. We are able to be prepared to come and give guidance, so to find amicable solution. Why them are those so special? I'm of the view that, Comrade Chairperson, let's not waste time with this Northwest thing. Actually, they didn't submit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Powell.
Thanks, Chair. I'm in broad agreement with the committee that presentations that arrive less than 24 hours before are not acceptable to this committee. We've asked this now for over 2 years. That said, last week, the National Department didn't send their presentation to the committee, and the CFO provided reasons why that was the case. I just am concerned. I hear what the Honourable Chris is saying. I'm just concerned that our committee doesn't have very much time, and we've got such pressing national business. Could we get agreement from the committee that we proceed with today's presentation with a stern warning to the Northwest, as opposed to postponing this for another hearing, which is just going to mean that further crucial items don't get before this committee timeously. And then perhaps Kaliswa can engage with you, the committee secretary, respectfully, can engage with you maybe the night before about which presentations have and haven't been received going forward, so that we can avoid having this discussion in every meeting. So just to summarize, Chair, my proposal is that we proceed today with a warning to the Northwest and to the National Department. Thanks, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Powell. Any other view around the issues before we sum up? No other hands. I still see Honorable Powell and Malamata. Your hands are up.
Sorry, it's a legacy hand.
Okay. Honorable members, I think we as you said, Honorable Powell, we have discussed with Koliswa yesterday, actually checking about because not yesterday, immediately when I see there was 24 hours, it's lapsing, and so I had to follow up with the department around the presentation, and it was not forthcoming. And fortunately, yesterday we received the one for Western Cape. But you see, my fear with Northwest, they don't even want to tell us why the report was not with us. And the Western Cape, they are apologizing to the committee, which show the remorse and respect. But the Northwest, they are just quiet in this meeting.
Chair, I'm struggling. Sorry, I'm struggling to raise my hand, Madam Chair. I've been trying to. My name is Grace Mushweu from the Northwest Housing Corporation. I'm struggling to raise my hand from this side. I wanted to, yes, Mama. I wanted to report that the report from the Northwest Housing Corporation was forwarded to the recipients whom we were communicating with on the 28th of February, and yesterday it was resent again. So the 24-hour notice, we thought we met it on the 28th, but we want to apologize in advance for any mishap that might have happened, maybe due to the recipient other side. But from our side, it was finalized on the 27th, Monday of February. Then on the 28th, very early in the morning, it was sent to the recipients whom we were engaging with in the National Department of Human Settlement, Madam. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Acting DG. Acting DG.
Chairperson, I'm here.
Yes.
The 28th was yesterday. I'm not aware of the names that the presentation was sent to yesterday morning, because our colleagues that are coordinating the presentations in our Cape Town office, they did not receive the presentation. There might have been a glitch in the process, Chairperson, which maybe I will apologize in upfront, but our colleagues in Cape Town did not receive those presentations to forward them.
Okay, thank you very much, honorable members. That is the situation. I think we have to, as a portfolio committee, we have to put our foot down ourselves. If we have to chase people because their report, the presentation has not reached members in time, it should be. But unfortunately, it's you members who says that let's forgive them, and we will do that, because even in last meeting, we forgive the national department. Now we must forgive, even today, we must forgive them. Of course, as the chair, I'm not happy with the situation, because if we put the rules and ourselves not take them serious, then it's a problem. So the stakeholders that are in our meeting, when you are being invited by the committee members must receive your presentation and report 24 hours before. Means that because it comes through the national department, you should have 5 working days sending the report, so that the national department can then forward your report to where it's supposed to go. So I think this will be the last thing that we discuss in the meeting, and we want to say, honorable members, in the near future, if these reports are not forthcoming, Koliswa must just cancel the meeting. We'll reorganize, whether it's 1 a.m. To punish people or what. As long as it's virtual, members has to receive the document in time. And this is the last warning, acting DG, because your department too has to take responsibility to make sure that members receive presentation in time. Let's then start with our first item, which is Northwest. Can we get the department? You can have your introductory remarks and invite those that are supposed to speak.
Thank you, Chairperson, and members of the Portfolio Committee. The Northwest Housing Corporation matter, as we all know, that we did meet with the Northwest Housing Corporation and City of Tshwane, together with the petitioners of Ga-Rankuwa and Mabopane last year. And there have been follow-ups from the department. With your permission, Chairperson, if we can allow the Northwest Housing Corporation to do their presentations, we will then add where necessary in terms of where the process is at the moment, because they are presenting the status of where we are with this matter. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Ms. Is it the CEO or Ms. The representative of the CEO?
It is the representative of the CEO, Madam Chair.
Okay, proceed.
Okay. Good morning again, members of Parliament, honorable members of Parliament, and colleagues from other departments and entities. I'm presenting this report on behalf of the CEO of Northwest Housing Corporation. The report has been made several times to Portfolio Committee and to the department. The matter concerns the 4 petitioners who approached the Office of the Public Protector concerning the illegal or fraudulent dismissal from their houses. The resolution from the Public Protector was that we must present ex gratia payment to the 4 petitioners. I'm happy to report that 1 petitioner accepted the ex gratia payment and the 3 members, they refused it. And the alternative was for the Northwest Housing Corporation to work with them to identify stands that they can be offered and build their own houses. We have done the homework. We went out with them. We identified stands in both Ga-Rankuwa and Mabopane as the latest as last week. Unfortunately, when we arrived there, we found that of the 17 stands which were in the asset register of the corporation in Mabopane and Ga-Rankuwa, they have been occupied fraudulently. There were illegal structure on those stands. Then we went further to find that there are 2 other stands that were vacant, which we offered to the other 2. Unfortunately, they refused them. Their reason was that they were expecting to be given vacant stands in Hartbeespoort. As their standard of living has improved, they can no longer take an offer from stands in Ga-Rankuwa or Mabopane. The other demand that they've mentioned is that they were expecting to be given houses which were previously occupied by former governors of the former Botswana government, which according to them, those houses are in Hartbeespoort. And lastly, they demanded that they be compensated for the furniture and other household goods that they have lost when they were evicted from their houses fraudulently previously. Then they also expected the Housing Corporation to pay them as gratia as ordered by the public protector to the petitioners who did not claim it. As I've already mentioned, we have already processed, we are in the process of paying out as gratia as ordered by the public protector, but this one did not receive it. Our conclusion when we assess the matter, we found ourselves not in the position to deliver on their demand because Northwest Housing Corporation does not own any vacant land in Hartbeespoort and therefore cannot assist further with the request of the petitioners in the area. We further recommended that the city of Tshwane should proclaim and register Zone 2 Ga-Rankuwa to register stand 2827 in the name of Michael Mary, one of the petitioners, which he is interested. The corporation continues to engage with all of them to reach amicable decision in line with the public protector's letter. That's the report from the CEO, Madam Chair.
Department.
Thank you, Chairperson. Let me allow our Director in IGR and Stakeholder Management, Mr. Vusi Tshwane, to make an input. I will come at the end. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, I do not have any extra addition to make on this. This is the report that we have received, and thank you.
Chairperson, when we met last year with Northwest Housing Corporation, the commitment that the entity made was that they do have land parcels that the petitioners can choose from. And it was a commitment that was supposed to have been fulfilled in the nearest future, not to take long. That they will take the petitioners to on site so that they can choose which land will suit them depending on the area. That was the agreement, Chairperson, that we had. But going forward, it has been a struggle because we have not been getting even the proper feedback in terms of where we are at the moment. Chairperson, I'll be guided by you because we do have the petitioners online in our boardroom. If Chairperson will allow them to make comments on what has just been presented now. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, DG. Before the petitioners, the city of Tshwane, they can come in. City of Tshwane.
Thank you. Honorable Chairperson, this is Johan Mettler, the city manager of Tshwane. The entire team is here with me in my boardroom, and I will now hand over to Ms. Monto Memela, who has been dealing with this matter, to respond to some of the issues that were raised. Thank you, Chairperson, through you.
Thank you, CM, and good morning to you, Chairperson, and the members of the Portfolio Committee and colleagues from National Human Settlements as well as Northwest Housing Corporation. Chairperson, in terms of the last meeting that was held in November, the City of Tshwane, there was a resolution that the City of Tshwane should also take responsibility or play a role in the compensation of the three petitioners, as well as assist in the proclamation of F2827 in Zone 2 Ga-Rankuwa that belongs to Mr. Mire. Chairperson, I think the Northwest Housing Corporation has largely covered issues around the challenges with the compensation that was resolved on, as well as per the report of the Office of the Public Protector. And if you allow me, Chairperson, I'm going to hand over to Divisional Head Petal Bring to then brief the committee on the outstanding matter of proclamation, so that F2827 that is for Mr. Mire can then be transferred to him. Thank you.
Thanks, Chair. Good morning, Chair. Good morning, colleagues and members of the committee. Yes, we did discuss the issue at the last meeting. The township in question has been proclaimed. The issue is really around the stand that in question. So the stands seem to have been subdivided and then consolidated. We unfortunately are not able to find the file for this particular site, so we are not sure if it's all the 4 sites we're talking about or just one of the subdivided sites. So we just need confirmation of which one that is, and then we can proclaim, and then we can go ahead and start the, or complete the either subdivision or consolidation process, and then ensure that the transfer takes place. So as soon as we get the file or able to, we are unfortunately not able to find the file in our record, so we have asked Northwest for the file. So we're hoping that we can get that file from Northwest so that we can finalize that process. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, City of Tshwane. Honorable members, there is the report. Oh, let's get the petitioners, those, particularly those that they've refused to take the land as and just to get them to talk to us, Mr. Mokgaswa. Mr. Mokgaswa.
Hello, Vuyani, we can't hear you.
Acting DG, we are able to hear them. Can you help them?
I will, Chairperson.
Hello, are we audible?
Yes, now we can hear you. Yes.
Good morning, Chairperson. And good morning to all committee members. My name is Ernest Khaswe, one of the petitioners. Yes, let me first start by thanking the committee for inviting us and also for acting so quick. We never expected this meeting to take place so early. Thank you very much for that. Let me start by responding to the report that was given by Northwest. I think it's Grace Moshweu. On the 23rd, we received a call from Northwest office, and they were inviting us to a meeting that should take place on the 24th. So we were taken by surprise. So the meeting venue was Murula Sun Hotel, and they gave us a time of 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, which later changed to 2 o'clock. Now, at 2 o'clock, we were there waiting for them at the reception area. Now, later, we saw two gentlemen arriving at the reception. And then later they joined us. They told us they were being sent from the office of the CEO with regard to the issue that we are actually discussing. So basically, what they told us was that they went around the place checking on the sites that belong to them. And then they prepared a list of those sites. And they also brought with the offer to purchase documents. Now, our argument from the beginning, we said, guys, can we really hold a meeting at the reception area? It's not on. So they were like, they didn't know exactly what to do. So we had to hold our meeting at the reception area. And then that's where they actually told us that they're being sent from the Northwest Housing Corporation. And then the mission was to come and show us on paper the sites. So the first question was, why didn't you tell us on time so that we prepare and go with you to go and see the sites? Because you're giving us sites at the certain township areas, and we don't have an idea altogether. So they also told us that most of the sites that belong to the corporation were already illegally occupied. So we indicated to them that, this time around, you'll never find a best suitable site. I mean, counting the 16 years, people have occupied all the land. But the question was, why didn't you invite us on time so that we can actually accompany you? Ms. Sepeng also indicated to them that, look how we are dressed. We are dressed for a meeting. We should actually dress properly so that we can actually travel with you to go and see those sites. Now, we allowed the meeting to go on at the reception, and we took some minutes, yes. So there were two guys there. It was Tebohora Mohunwe and Lucky Shupi, who told us they were sent from Northwest Housing Corporation. Now, from the word go, we did not agree with them that you cannot actually bring number of sites to us, and it's not convincing enough. And you didn't even give us enough time to prepare. I mean, you had the whole 3 months since last year where this exercise was supposed to have happened. Now you come a day before, you tell us you are coming tomorrow, and then here you are. You show us the papers and so on. So yes, we deliberated on the issue, and then we said, actually we asked them as to whether they don't have any sites in Breede. We never talked about Hartebees. Yes, we did mention that they might be having land because Hartebees falls within the borders of Northwest. So they told us, no, we don't have place in Hartebees, we don't have place in Breede, and the only places that we have are the ones that we have on paper. Coming to the issue of the governor's house. I know there's a governor's house in Ga-Rankuwa, Unit 8. I asked about that so that they can actually check for us. Because we realized that these sites are not serviced and it's going to take long. I mean, the way there's so much informal settlement around Mabopane, Ga-Rankuwa, you'll find yourself being given a site around that place. And one of the questions that we asked was that did they go around to see where we used to stay, so that when they choose a site, they should actually have in mind the kind of house we used to occupy. So that was not that. Now I hear a lady making a false presentation that we wanted houses in Hartebees that we were taken along with when they went to check those sites. We were never taken along. We were never taken along. That I must actually stress. So I don't know if you want to help somebody and you leave him behind, you go there alone by yourself, you come and tell this person what to do. And already you have papers of offer to purchase with you. So they were actually trying to push things so that they can actually come and lie to the committee that they done something. So the same evening, I wrote to the chairperson as well as the secretary reporting this particular meeting, which I described as a surprise meeting. And, you know, it was like we were taken for granted. Now, during the meeting, we requested that they call the CEO and they put him on the speaker because we could not actually agree with them on anything that they actually tried to convince us on. Now we got at the CEO, Mr. Sello Mogodiri. I think he was driving and then he parked alongside the road. And then we started to talk. And Sello Mogodiri seemed not to have any idea of what we were talking about, because we had to start things from the beginning and all those things. So we really felt this is not on. We talked for a long time. He talked with Mr. Mary regarding his issue about the issuing of the title deed. He made his promises as he did previously last year in the meeting. And then when I was actually busy talking to him, I think it was a network that cut us. But finally, we told those guys that they should actually go back and reorganize themselves. We're not aware that the bid is going to happen this early. We thought maybe we're going to have some more time so that they come back with some reasonable offers. Now, I want to correct Grace Mosheu that if this is the report that he received from those two guys, it's a false report. We never asked anything. And the governor's house is not in Hartebees. It's in Unit 8. It's an old house. It's been used by some NGOs. We're just trying to help them to think around that area, because this issue of size, you will be shown some land that you don't even know who's actually owning that. It's not fair. So it is not right that we asked for places in Hartebees. We did ask about Hartebees, I mean, Breede. And Breede, I mean, Breede is a wide area, it's big. I mean, if you talk about Breede, you don't talk necessarily about the town. But if they had some land there, we should actually be taken along to go and see. And if we agree, then we can actually make some arrangements. So far, I think from our side of petitioners, there's no progress that we can report. The whole 3 months that people were given to prepare and communicate with us, it was never used. We never received a call until the 23rd by this lady called Jade Mutshekwe. She called us and then, you know, it was like a hurry thing. Tomorrow is the meeting and so on and so forth. So really we are disappointed. We are disappointed by the department, the corporation in a manner in which they are actually trying to handle this issue. And then we feel the committee must actually be hard on them, because this is the game that they have been playing throughout. I mean, the houses were taken, they never acted on any of these issues. So now today, here we are, we're still trying to push them to do things that are actually employed to do. So I really feel the committee should be hard on them, and then if possible, they should be forced to do some of these things, because they are comfortable in their own homes and they are earning salaries, and here we are. We're not actually enjoying anything. So far, this is basically the report that I'm trying to give you. I'll just allow one of my partners to elaborate further.
Thank you very much. Good morning again to the Parliament Portfolio Committee. We are impressed of what you are doing, and what you do definitely will reap fruits. In fact, when we met these two guys, they were so, you know, we thought we come into a meeting and dressed up for the meeting, and they were so casual. I didn't even expect that they are the guys coming for us, because we were in the reception. Initially, we didn't want to continue with the meeting because they seemed not to understand anything. They even confessed that what they were sent for, they really don't understand. They were hearing it for the first time. They even told us that they are going to study the matter further, so that when they come, they should be properly briefed. I insisted that they call Mr. Mogodiri, whom definitely they did call, Mr. Mukhodiri, I was very, very harsh with Mr. Mukhodiri because I saw that the Northwest, they're working against time. They knew probably when I was invited to this meeting of the first, I really before told my fellow petitioners that I'm smelling a rat. These people are running against something. I seem to see Northwest. One of the portfolio members, I heard him say they think this is run as a spaza house, as a spaza shop or whatever. They don't seem to think that this is a country. Why I'm saying that is because you could see that they are pushing for time. When we agreed that, okay, let's continue with the meeting, is when we realized, when they confessed that they seem not to understand what is happening, they were just mandated to do this. On their list, they had a list of, I think they were 13 houses, and they confessed that why the meeting took too long to get in, because we were supposed to meet at 10, and why it went up to 2 o'clock, because we were communicating with Jane there and we were not communicating with them. Jane trying to, because at certain stage we were telling them that we are leaving. And then Jane was saying, oh, please don't, they're just around the corner. They were not around the corner until they came somewhere around 2, 3 or past 3. And then when they came in, Shuping did confess that most of the stands that they saw are occupied. You can imagine they come for a serious meeting with us. The very same day that they came, they went to check on those stands. They were seeing those stands for the first time. And then after seeing the stands, now they have to come to a meeting, which they were rushing because they were supposed to go back to Northwest. I said, you cannot come for such a venture same day and go to check the stands and see us and all those. Why didn't you come yesterday? Or I even said, go and do your work and then you call us when you are done. And that's what they said. Nothing is complete. I'm amazed to hear a report that is so condensed and presented to the parliament, which is false. Those guys told us all the stands that they have on the list, after they went out, they are occupied. And then they even said after seeing us, they never expected to see people. I don't know what that meant, was those stands really you can't occupy. The stands that they had from Block M Mabopane, they said they're on the mountain and it's a place that is inhabitable. They confessed. So thereafter, we had a lengthy discussion with them where we were just talking informally, trying to advise them because they seemed not to have a clue of where we stayed or the houses that we lost. They didn't have any clue. I think they thought we are people who probably occupied RDP houses. Then they can put us at any informal settlement or whatever. And then the stands are not, they confessed. So I don't understand why they have to take a report such as that to the parliament, which was supposed, in fact, this report that we gave them, they were supposed to hold a meeting and prepare themselves to come to us again before going to the parliament. Because what they are doing, I think they were just worried. They don't take this whole thing serious. They just said, we know, we'll just go there and show them a list. We even demanded that list. It's a pity I don't know who gives who a report and who agrees. Mr. Mukhodiri, when we stopped him on the roadside, Mr. Mukhodiri seemed not to have a clue of us, didn't even know us. We had to introduce ourselves and tell Mr. Mukhodiri, I'm Mrs. Sepeng, this is my issue, and so on. Mr. Miri was asking Mr. Mukhodiri, why now you called me to a meeting? Because this meeting, what do I have to do? What is it? They had the offer to purchase forms. Do we need that offer to purchase? How do you sign a thing that you haven't studied? We were really taken for a ride. And what I want to advise the portfolio committee is, these people of Northwest, we're just trying to have something to present to you. And false report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, petitioners. I'm told we have joined by the executive mayor of Tshwane. The executive mayor on behalf of the Portfolio Committee, we want to congratulate you, newly elected. You're welcome, sir. The city manager indicated that you are on the line, but when we asked Tshwane to present, the city manager presented, we thought you were going to give your remarks, but understanding that you're new, I just thought I would give you an opportunity later just to greet members. The executive mayor.
Chairperson, sorry, this is Jordan Griffiths from Tshwane Mayor's office.
Yes,
I think the executive mayor was, he was indeed on the platform earlier when it started, but I can see now he's possibly just logged off. Obviously, it's his first day in office, so I think there are a bunch of various competing priorities. So he's not currently logged in, but he was here for the first, I think, 45 minutes or so.
Okay. Thank you. City Manager. Honorable members, Mrs. The lady from Development Corporation.
My hand is up, Chair.
Before your hand, I know that she was presenting, but I've realized that the presentation on my screen is not visible, and because I've realized I had a problem with my gadgets. I just thought every member has, because I've indicated that their presentation I've received it in the morning, so I was going through it as he was presenting. So I'm now going to open for members. This is a progress report, honorable members, as they were indicating in the last meeting. Northwest Development Corporation committed that they will avail land for the petitioners, and then the city of Tshwane. What you have not informed us, I'm not sure whether you are still going to present on the how you are handling the issue on the people who sold those houses, because we said that it cannot just be left that people have just sold, and you've said it's not yourself, the development corporation, it says yourself. So somebody has to take an accountability. This is a property, it cannot just be on the, nobody it could not be that nobody could account for. So we need somebody to account for those people who have sold those houses. And Honorable Seki, you have raised your hand.
Chair, here to saying it's a progress report. A progress report that is regressive. It's taking us backwards based on what the petitioners are saying. Chair, I don't know what are the protocols, but can you send one of us as a committee members to drive this matter and report to you by end of the month? I'd like to have this to and fro so that person, I can volunteer to do it. Chair. That person must report to the committee, completed everything, talking to everyone. This one, Chair, is not taking us anywhere. Unfortunately, the department is not assisting us on this matter. So my view is that let's call the presentation off, send someone to represent the committee to run with this matter towards its final conclusion. I'm willing to volunteer. Thank you, Chair. That's my proposal.
Thank you, Honorable Zeki. Honorable Power.
Thanks, Chairperson. I don't think that it's prudent for a single member of this committee to conduct investigative work. There are law enforcement agencies and various mandated bodies that conduct such investigations, such as the Public Protector has done in this matter. I'm very troubled to hear the sentiments of the petitioners. I think that we as parliamentarians and our colleagues in the Northwest Housing Corporation at the City of Tshwane have a constitutional duty to serve the citizens of this nation. And the blatant disrespect that these individuals have been shown, I think, is troubling, certainly to me as a member of parliament. What I'm more interested in understanding, I've had to now go back into my files and read the Public Protector's report while the Northwest has been presenting. And I reject the Northwest's presentation. It's a 1.5 page Word document that virtually accuses the petitioners of lying and of wanting to live above what government's willing to offer them. I don't think that we as a committee should accept such a presentation. What I'd like to ask, Chairperson, through you, is I'd like to direct my question at both the City of Tshwane. We have the City Manager on the line. I understand that the City Manager was not in his position when this matter arose and took place. But I'd like to understand, one, the backgrounds to the allegation of maladministration regarding the improprieties that took place around the sale and transfer of these houses that at the time belonged to the Northwest Housing Corporation. So I'd like to understand the response from both the City of Tshwane and from the Northwest Housing Corporation on this matter. And then I'd also like to understand the outcome of any criminal investigations into the alleged fraudulent transfer. Now, Chairperson, there was a very, very troubling article in the City Press 2 days ago that noted more than 718 million rands worth of fraudulent property transfers that have allegedly happened at Tshwane. And there are people such as Mabopane still in the employ of Tshwane. Now, everybody is innocent before the law until proven guilty, but these officials that are implicated in this deal are still in the employ of Tshwane. And it seems to me that that we need answers from the City of Tshwane and the Northwest Housing Corporation as to what remedial action has been taken and what is being done within the municipality and the province to address what seems to my mind to be ongoing improprieties in regards to the fraudulent transfer of land parcels. This is but one example. So just to summarize, I'd like a background from both of the organizations into these allegations, and I'd like to understand the outcome of criminal investigations. Is anybody in orange jumpsuits? And then a comment from the City Manager as to recent developments in the media around these ongoing fraudulent transfers. And Chairperson, as a resolution further to what the Honourable Teki has said, I would like to propose that the committee go and visit these properties in the Northwest to see for ourselves and to understand and to meet with the petitioners as members of Parliament ourselves. Thank you, Chairperson.
Honorable Mandisa.
Thanks,
I use the first name because it's easier to call.
No problem. That's my name anyway. Thank you. Thanks, Chairperson. My issue, it seems, although I didn't have a background, but for the presentation of the petitioners and the presentation of the Northwest Corporation, it seems that the corporation didn't do the work. I think let us, as a committee, to set an example with the people who are not doing their job, who are not taking this committee of parliament seriously, to face the consequences so that our people cannot be undermined. Because now I think whatever, if you check the presentation of the corporation, they really undermined the parliament. They didn't take us serious. They thought we were just going to accept one-page report who's not assisting us. The committee collectively must have the time and go and assist and meet with the petitioners and go to press and verify whether there's no site if they are failing. But consequence management of these people of cooperative, if they have to be charged, including the role of the municipality, if those officials who sold those houses, they are still in the municipality, we must get a report of what is happening with them, because maybe they still continue to do what they have done in these petitioners, they will do to another people if there's nothing that is happening. So I don't agree also with this report. They are just misleading us, and I think they really undermine both of us, committee and the petitioners. They didn't take this committee serious.
Honorable Tshwane. Honorable Tshwane.
Chairperson, you hear me, Chair?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you, Chairperson. Greetings to the members of the committee and also the stakeholders that are here. Chairperson, Mandibulele Eltuba. In the presentation of Northwest, why the CEO is not coming? Because this meeting is a virtual. So it's not true. It's not the true reflection of that report. And this report, Chair, is not true real, because all of those stakeholders are not talking the reality. So it's the reality that's supposed to send members of the committee to those places and check the development, because there is no development now. I thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, honorable members. As I've said it before, I gave Honorable Zeki, I was saying that the city of Tshwane has to give us the feedback, because the background, honorable member, in the last meeting when we met with petitioners, Development Corporation, the department, and the city of Tshwane, both they've presented the background of what happened, and we asked the question, why somebody is not being arrested for selling, because Tshwane was disputing that they have not sold any property. But the petitioners were saying the city of Tshwane has sold their houses, which they've bought it from the Development Corporation. And we then said to both of them, Development Corporation, why you are not concerned that somebody has sold your houses, that you have sold already to somebody, and open a case? And they've responded in this meeting, indicating that they were discussing with the city of Tshwane with the intention to resolve it as part of intergovernmental relations. And then we asked the same question to the city of Tshwane. There is an officials in your offices who have sold the properties, and you are not worried yourselves. You have not taken this matter to any authorities that were supposed to deal with, and you are saying you're putting disclaimer that you have not actually sold any land, but the records which the public protector, as was engaging with the report, indicating gave the outcome that both the city of Tshwane and the Development Corporation were supposed to implement, and the city was intending to take the report for review. And we asked the question, what is it that you are taking on review for 16 years that somebody in your office have sold these houses for these people? And these people have been staying on the street for 16 years. Now probably it's 20 years, towards 20 years, and you want to take the report or the review, you want to review the report of the public protector, which is your constitutional right. But how are we resolving that? Somebody, as we speak, is outside, is staying on the street. And because we cannot say the city of Tshwane would not take the public protector report on review. But our interest was to say the petitioners is to help the petitioners to get their houses, because the review might take another 15 years, which ourselves, we might not even be here. And Development Corporation then committed in this meeting that they will avail land, which the city of Tshwane and the department would work together to make sure that they build houses. But Tshwane and Development Corporation must make sure that the matter get reported, and ourselves will follow up, even if we will not be here as Parliament. Somebody must follow up that there were people who have sold land illegally in Tshwane. So I just wanted to clarify the matter on the background and how these issues arose with the petitioners. And what is key now is that because in that meeting, the petitioner had actually accepted the offer of the land. But the problem is when Development Corporation now just want to give them the land without them seeing the land, whether it's habitable to build a house or not, which is the problem for me. And what Honorable Zeki is saying, I think it doesn't have to be a one person, Honorable Zeki. I think we are going to Northwest towards the end of the month. We will actually make sure that we deal with the matter appropriately as a committee, because we don't want to leave any person behind. And that's why I was worried when we started with the report that we received in the morning. I see Honorable Chris is raising the hands. Honorable Chris?
No, thanks, Chair. Actually, you read my mind. I raised my hands before you because two things that you mentioned and that we agreed upon when we left that meeting. There was a promise of a land that was agreed upon. The question of arresting official we agreed upon. Now, the reason why we were not given a report earlier, they knew that we are going to pick up that what they've promised, we will want to hear that. And that never happened. So, Chairperson, I think I'm raising my hand to support those who are saying, let's go. And I'm also covered when you're saying, we are going to a month and so that we are going to get this once and for all. I don't think there's still further discussion on that because they failed to tell us, they are failing now to tell us where is the land. They failed to take the very same people who are saying today in the meeting that when they were called to a meeting in Sun City, their expectation was to go and see the land that we were promised. Now that thing faded away. Now we are here with a report that is much of talking instead of action. I therefore want to agree with you here that this matter just needs to be wrapped with an understanding that there's a date where all of us going there. From that point is then that will conclude in terms of whatever needs to happen. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chris. the Department of Human Settlement, we want to make an appeal again. We have an oversight to Northwest. What we need to do, one, the Department of Northwest Human Settlement must interact with the MEC, the Northwest Department of Human Settlement, together with them, meet with the Development Corporation, make sure that you take the petitioners to those lands, if it's habitable, and get engineers. I think the department has got engineers, people who can see whether the land is habitable. Those people, the people with the required skill to go to those areas. And the time we come to Northwest, we want the feedback that says we have seen the land, we have agreed with petitioners, or they've rejected the land. And if they've rejected the land, what is Tshwane and Development Corporation doing about the issue if the petitioners reject those lands? How then do you compensate them? Development Corporation and the City of Tshwane working together with the department to make sure that when we come to Northwest, there must be a sealed. I know that you might say that you don't have an authority to do certain, but the minister has got the authority to interact with the MEC for Northwest, which actually I'm very worried because they've been distancing themselves from this problem, which is the problem of though the cooperation was under other department in Northwest, but they are responsible for human settlement. They have to take keen interest in this matter and working together with them to go and see those lands. And if the land is habitable for building, then the Tshwane and yourself, the department, you can then agree how then you're going to build houses for those petitioners, because they have paid government money and somebody has taken their money and the houses, you then sold the houses. And Tshwane to distance itself that they don't know who sold the house, but they don't open the case. It's a problem on its own. And we're still asking the city manager, we're expecting today's meeting to get a further feedback on yourselves. This is what in your investigation, who did these things? Where is this? Where is the matter now? Have you opened the case? Whether there is any investigation that is continuing around people who have sold these houses? What is happening around it? Because we cannot just say, because I didn't authorize it as a city manager, therefore it's not the responsibility of Tshwane. But somebody has done in your name, which need to be punished by but you are the only relevant authority that you can actually take the matter up, because the areas that we are talking about, they've, in terms of the demarcation, they are under Tshwane, unfortunately. So I want us to get Tshwane and Development Corporation and the department on the proposals that we are going there, as all of members are saying, but the work should have been done, and the department, you are still accountable. These are matters of human settlement. We want a report that give us a progress, not a regression. I'm going to allow both the city and the Department and Development Corporation to comment before we close the matter. Let's start with the Development Corporation. Mr. Malemata, your hand still up?
Legacy hand, Chair, sorry.
Okay. Development Corporation, come in.
Thank you, honorable members and Madam Chair. We commit to the resolution taken today by members of a portfolio committee, and as per resolution, will work hand in hand with the city of Tshwane and our shareholder, the Department of Human Settlement, to ensure that the reports and the work that we want us to do as groundwork is done before the visit of the portfolio committee. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. The city of Tshwane.
Chairperson, Johan speaking. Firstly, I'm in agreement with the proposals that the committee will attend, and we will make sure that all of the background information, including the questions that we have raised, will be addressed, and obviously that you will get that particular report in advance of your meeting in loco. That's the first point. I think the second point is we have instituted criminal investigations in respect of those sites that have been fraudulently sold by members of staff. They've acted criminally. They've acted completely contrary to good governance, and the cases with the hawks. In our formal response to you, that will be in writing, we will then provide you with a case number and also then with progress in respect of how far that particular matter is. But right now, as I said, I do not have a case number. I'm not in a position to give that to you. Then there was also, Chairperson, the matters raised in respect of the issues as per the newspaper reports of a few days ago. I would also would like to get back to you in writing, because I do not have the full set of information at my disposal, except to say that there were criminal matters registered in respect of three pieces of property that we refer to. I cannot confirm now that those three cases is in respect of that full 780 million. That I can't say, but I know that there are three cases that were opened already in October of 2019. But part of our report then would then also refer to those matters and where we are as far as those matters are concerned. Thank you, Chairperson. I trust that will suffice for now. Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Department.
Thank you, Chairperson. From the department side, I must indicate, Chairperson, that the reason why we are at this level is not due to the non-cooperation from the department. There have been engagements with the Northwest Housing Corporation together with City of Tshwane. The situation, the responses that we had today from the petitioners is the same frustration that at national department we have. And also these engagements have also taken place even at the political level. But for today, we will be hoping that today's commitments from both institutions that will provide an enabling environment for all of us to take this matter forward and close it once and for all. Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable Powell and Honorable Chris.
Thanks, Chairperson. Chair, I think that we need a further elucidation from the Northwest. I don't accept the sort of one-liner, okay, we'll give you a report. I have asked questions. What disciplinary action and remedial action has been taken in the Northwest to hold the officials that were responsible for this accountable? Have criminal charges been laid? Have people been suspended? I'm asking, in terms of my oversight responsibilities, I'm asking the Northwest officials that are appearing before Parliament today to please give us a rundown of consequence management. What consequence management has been initiated in this regard? Then secondly, in terms of what Mr. Metler has said, that he doesn't have the reports in front of him, I would suggest respectfully to the city manager that when appearing before Parliament, you have the respective reports in front of you. Now, this is a serious and it's an ongoing matter that is negatively impacting the lives of a number of families. I'd like to ask the question, have officials been investigated, suspended? How many officials have been implicated in this from Tshwane's side? Have they faced internal disciplinary action? Have they been suspended? In respect of that city press story, I understand that I wouldn't expect the city manager to have prepped for questions around that today. But again, we're seeing the same story, that the previous acting city manager sat on the forensic report back as early as when these allegations came to light around 2020, that the impact report only came to council in October. I'd like to ask the city manager to give us a rundown of whether or not the officials that are potentially implicated in that scandal will now, what I'm asking for is a guarantee, whether or not those officials will now be subject to internal disciplinary action, and what action the city of Tshwane is taking in respect of the forensic report that served before council in regards to this latest 180 million rand fraudulent property transfer in Tshwane. I think, Chairperson, the point is, and we've got the Acting Director General here, and I think that all committee members would agree, we as Parliament need to be taken seriously. The level of detail that is provided in the reports that we've been seeing recently, the level of disrespect that is being consistently shown to this committee in terms of not responding to questions, in terms of not answering the specific...
Can I call Member Powell for direction, Chair?
Direction on what? Are you standing on a point of order, Honourable Tseki?
Yes.
Honourable Tseki, I thought member is finishing and then you'll come in. Allow him to finish, then you'll come in.
Okay.
Proceed,
Chair,
Honourable.
Chair, just to conclude on my point, this committee needs to, as a collective, reject the types of reports that we have been given by the likes of the Northwest Housing Corporation this morning. And we need to issue a stern warning to any entity, department or official that is appearing before Parliament, that when they appear before Parliament, they give us the facts, that they tell us the truth, that they have the relevant reports before them, and they're able to answer our questions. Because too often we're seeing officials saying they don't have the information, they can't respond adequately, they haven't prepared, the information we're given is not factual, and then we're promised reports, and I personally have to follow up for weeks and weeks and weeks, at which point the committee's moved on with its business. So I'd really like to ask that we tighten the bolts in terms of this committee, and that officials that do have to answer before Parliament are subject to the law, and that we make sure that we enforce the law, that we are not misled, that we are not given false information, that where we are given false information or misleading information or inadequate information, that we as a committee act. Thank you, Chairperson.
Honorable Tseki.
No, Chair, I was
I
saying you
however
have summarized this matter. The department also indicated their commitment to work. Let's wait for the end of the month to get everything, Chair. The report, and a very tangible report that takes us forward. And the Northwest must not only report on a hearsay, they must be actively involved on all what is happening, because the poor representative of the CEO there, it's not reporting on the actual incident that she has observed. Can we move to the next item, Chair?
Honorable Chris, sorry for jumping you.
No, it's fine. Thanks. Chair, it's just there are things that I think we must mention here after you opened it, because I also felt that we have summarized, you must close it. The issue of the petitioner to be questioned whether will they be right if we identify a land from different areas, or they want to be given land one place where it is the same. I think this must all be clear, because they too must also be ready to come to compromise in case the land is of the conditions that is not of their expectations, so that we work these things easily. But if we come with a promise that it's like we are going to get a high suburban area, then when we arrive, then they said, no, we can't take this one because this one does not match our standard of living, which we are saying very clear as parliamentarians. We are not saying we going to take you to a dump area, but we are saying there are a number of things that need to be also looked upon when we deal with this land, that the land that we are going to give, will it be fine if we find a land where there are no problem, habitable, but it's not exactly where they're staying? Do they want to be separated? Others can go to east, others they can go to west. So that at the end of the day, we don't confine ourselves on something that is huge and we can't find it at one place. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. The petitioners. Mr. Hash.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We really appreciate the contributions by various members and also the commitment that the corporation is making. But I wish to ask something, because we don't want to come here back for and all those things. The issue of the replacement of houses, I think, is now getting direction. But now I'm going to ask, I don't know whether it's Tshwane or Northwest, about the losses. Are we going to have another meeting to discuss the losses, or is it going to be one thing that is going to be taken along with? Because in our own, previously when we had a meeting, we indicated a lot of other issues that were burning. Like the issue that a few months before I was evicted, I was coming from Malaysia, where I won a gold medal, and I never got a chance to promote myself in that. There is these issues of business losses, property losses, and all those things. I don't know whether we are going to address them in another meeting, or should we engage an actuary who should actually look into these losses and then give it the monetary value. I think it's very, very important that we don't actually conclude not actually mentioning it, because it is something that is coming and we should actually have direction on it. So I wish that the committee should also consider that as part of this whole issue of housing. Thank you very much. Yes, regarding taking land, sorry, Chairperson, I just left to taking land outside the areas that we used to stay in, we don't have a problem. But preferably, really, where you should actually have your families closer to you is best. But until we arrive at those sites, we will actually know exactly what we are talking about. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think we agreeing that one. I think the issue that you are raising, Honorable Haswe, would have to ourselves will actually take it to the legal department of Parliament to guide us in that process, because the issue that we are focusing on is to get Northwest and Tshwane to resolve this matter of taking you up and down, because it's 16 years that you don't have a home. Tshwane, even after the public protector's report, they wanted to review, and in the last meeting, our emphasis was that we do not stop Tshwane to take the matters on review, or so that they are able to prove their point of people who have sold the houses, it's not them or not. We wanted, but we said to them, our priority must be able to get yourselves a home, because our responsibility is human settlement. That's why we have dragged department to make sure that they lead all of us to make sure that at the ultimate end, your dignity is restored based on the laws that you have in terms of the houses and the land. But on the other issues of laws, because we would have to bring in the issues of legal representative of Parliament, to see how best we deal with the matter, so that in ourselves, as we're trying to resolve your matter, we don't float the law in the process. So I think we will, through Sabelo, will then take the matter to that to that level. And we know that the losses that you have went through, and both even the I forget the name, that the one that has lost the business side, has lost that business, would have to look at that, and thank you for raising that one. But our priority in the last meeting was to get you restore the dignity of getting yourself your land and your homes back, so that your children can have a roof on top of your head. And as Tshwane is promising that they are putting investigation on the people who have sold the houses, we'll take it from there, and see how with legal representative, how do we then deal with other things outside getting you a home. Honorable Powell.
Thanks, Chair. Before you release the officials from the Northwest and the City of Tshwane, I would just like them to answer the questions that I've asked in regards specifically the Northwest. I understand Mr. Metler did speak about the matter having been reported to the police and not having a case number available, but being able to give us that guarantee. I would like the Northwest to please tell us today a little bit about the consequence management that's been initiated. As you point out, Chairperson, this did happen 16 years ago. So we would expect that there should have been full disciplinary investigations and consequence management initiated by now. So if we could please just hear from the Northwest on that question, thanks.
Northwest? Honorable member wants to know what you have done with when the city of Tshwane sold these houses. You can repeat it as I've indicated, because the city, honorable member, the development corporations, they owned houses in Northwest, and they were in charge of building houses, selling houses on behalf of the Northwest government. And when Minister Slovo took a decision that all the houses are 4-roomed houses that belongs to previous government has to be given to people who are staying in them. If you remember, people were paying rent throughout. Some they had to buy them. And in this case, the petitioner had bought these houses from Development Corporation. When they were coming to in Tshwane, the Development Corporation claimed that the Tshwane Municipality sold those houses. And Tshwane were saying, it's not them, it might be somebody. They are not even sure whether it's their official or not. But these houses were sold through the state agency with the Tshwane logo. That's why I'm trying to help that you might not get anybody from Development Corporation being disciplined, because it's not them who sold the houses, it's Tshwane. The person who sold the houses used the logo of Tshwane with the state agency, which is private owned. That's why we're saying the only problem that we said to them is that though they have sold the houses with the people, with the petitioners, after the petitioners went to them to say that, Pella, we have given you the money, the city of Tshwane sold the houses. They were supposed to have helped the petitioner by taking them to the law enforcement agencies to get city of Tshwane to get to respond. But there was the process of public protector and which comes in and all those things. Where we are now is that's why our priority is to get them a roof on top of their homes, and they are raising the critical issue of their losses, which is something that would have to get a legal team to help us to navigate around it. Because I don't think as the committee would have an answer on that now, except to be guided by legal team how we should handle it. So the the Northwest Development Corporation, there was nobody who was who has sold the houses. But I can allow them to give the information that they give the committee on what happened to the houses.
Chairperson, thank you again. I think the chairperson of Portfolio Committee have captured the response very well, and the Northwest Housing Corporation will go back and check on the issue of consequence management. And such report will be part of the report that will be forwarded by our shareholder, the Department of Human Settlement. But as you have already alluded, I do not believe there was something like an investigation, but that matter will be verified, Chair. Can I ask the committee to give us just the time to revert back to our principals so that we can investigate this issue of consequence management, if ever it was ever instituted or not? But I would like to say that the chairperson have well captured the response on our behalf. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Development Corporation and the City of Tshwane for responding. Please, DG.
Chairperson, my hand is up. It's Honourable Powell.
Yes, Honourable Powell.
Not to belabor the point, I accept your recommendation that the teams revert in a month. So not to belabor the point, but the consequence management that I'm referring to, I read the Public Protector's original report this morning. I dug it up out of my files from previous hearings. And when I refer to impropriety, irregular conduct, consequence management, I am referring to the Public Protector's own findings. So I accept your recollection of events in terms of the parties, in your view, that were responsible for various components of the transactions. I am referring specifically because this, as a committee, we need to deal with the substance of the reports. I'm referring to the findings that were made by the Public Protector, where at the time she did find impropriety on the part of both the Northwest Housing Corporation and the City of Tshwane. So that is where my question arises, and I would appreciate a substantive response on that with relevant case numbers in the report that is given to our committee. And I would also like to ask you, Chairperson, now before you release the officials, that we agree on a date by which such a report will be given to the committee. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Powell, we are saying that the National Department and Tshwane and Development Corporation, taking along the petitioners, they should go and view the sites. And if petitioners, if they found, because they must take people who are qualified, which engineers, to check those lands that are habitable, whether they are habitable to be used for building, they will then, the City of Tshwane and Human Settlement and Development Corporation, if the land it's habitable to be used, then they would actually develop further program, because they've sold houses. There must be houses in those land, not only land. The City of Tshwane, who have actually sold their houses, with the help of the department, they should then be able to say where are they going to get money to build those houses? And after that, when the portfolio committee would then have oversight to Northwest. Koliswa, can you remind me of the date?
It will be 29, 30, and 31 of March, Chairperson.
Yes. Means that by the 26th, we should then have a report that is circulating to members on the processes that we've outlined, what should have happened, and the report including what did they've done after they've realized that they will be briefed even with the investigation that is done by Tshwane for those people who have sold those houses, whether illegal or legal, because they've done it using their own logo. Will then get, and as I've indicated that we said that because there was an issue in that previous meeting that the city of Tshwane wants to take a review on the report of public protector. And that is when we say, but it's 16 years now. As you want to do that, which is your constitutional right, will not stop you because you are saying you are not agreeing with the content of the public protector. And they are allowed to take it on review if they want to. But let's resolve the issues of petitioners for them to get a roof on top of their head. So we do not stop them, but our interest with Tshwane was saying that we have to work together to make sure that the victims, their issues are being addressed by making sure that we give them a house to stay with their kids. And these other things of fighting legal battles, yourselves taking review or whatever, then it can then happen outside this process that we're talking about, because we are not questioning a report of public protector. We actually saying that public as a committee in that previous meeting, we said that we will actually have a bilateral with the public protector at some point to look at this matter ourselves, to say how then do we actually navigate with their reports as Parliament, helping them to make sure that as part of the relationship that we have with the public protector, we both of us assist them to finalize it and close it such that the parties are all of them, they are satisfied, because we didn't want to argue with who's right, who's not right, because we just took the facts of somebody used the Tshwane logo to sell the house. So Tshwane, you are responsible because you have not even opened the case. Therefore, let's work together with the petitioners and those that and Development Corporation to make sure that these people get the roof of the house. Somebody actually has received the money. The Development Corporation has received the money from the petitioners, bought these houses, and they are confirming that these houses have been bought. But there is somebody in Tshwane who have sold these houses. So we have to, our priority is to make sure that these people get their house. So, so with that note, on the 26th, we'll have to get the report circulated to members. and then we'll then go to second item, Breede.
Chairperson, our colleagues from the Western Cape province will provide the status update on the Breede Valley petition. Thank you, Chairperson.
Honourable Chairperson, may I proceed with the presentation?
Yes, you can flag it, or Koliswa can help you.
Maybe if I can just get an indication if the screen is being shared, Chairperson.
So we can see your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you, honourable members. So, as I already indicated, I'm Mr. Louis Ahmed from the Department of Human Settlements. I'm the regional planner for the Cape Winelands District, and I've been tasked with presenting the update from our previous engagement. That was at the end of last year. I believe it was in October. So this presentation is quite similar, and I'll try to run through it very briefly to get to the status update that is of relevance to the committee. I'm not going to spend too much time on the history of a project. I do believe that we're all aware of the history of a project. It's located in the town of Worcester in the municipality of Breede Valley, and it relates to the New Mandela Square housing project, 652 IRDP project, or Integrated Residential Development project, that was undertaken, where the top structures for a certain percentage of the project was not constructed. I think that is the main point. There's the particulars of the housing projects. Maybe just to indicate that the department and the municipality are both struggling with the completion of this housing project due to the invasion of the sites, or not invasion, but the occupation of these sites. And which makes it very difficult to actually bring in construction materials so that one can start building the houses. I think that is the main problem that the municipality is currently facing. But Mr. Mayeki from the Breede Valley Municipality may be able to provide a bit more detail in terms of the struggles that they've been experiencing with the project. You can see that's the breakdown of the various engagements that's been held with the municipalities during the 2022 financial year for the project. I'll just continue. I would like to focus on this point. Most of the efforts that's been invested in the project from a departmental side has been in terms of the NGO that's been appointed for the Breede Valley Municipality, and particular to look at the Zwelathemba and Magwaleni areas within which the New Mandela project is located. And they've been undertaking a number of activities. Previously, we reported on the milestones that were completed, which were milestones 1 through 2. Since the work of the NGO has been completed, so both the community-based planning and sustainability livelihood plan, upgrading plan, and the relocation strategy, as well as the closeout report, have all been completed and submitted to the department and to the municipality. These reports are integral in providing the municipality with the necessary background material so that they can prepare a strategy on how to decant the New Mandela area, which will then allow space to be opened, which would then allow the municipality to proceed with a project application and the implementation of a project on that site. Okay. So this slide basically just indicates where the NGO's work has been, the establishment of the project steering committee, and the meetings, engagements that's been held since their inception. Those are the meetings that was held. And then basically, like I mentioned, the critical point is the relocation strategy that needs to be developed based on the material that the NGO has now been compiled. And I would just like to maybe, if you would allow me, just to unshare quickly, I just want to show you the actual spatial location of the sites so that the committee members may have a better understanding of what we're talking about in terms of the project. Chairperson, if that's allowed. Sorry, Chair, can I proceed to the GIS if I'm able to? Okay, sorry. I'll use these images when I wanted to show you on the geographical information system exactly what we're talking about. But the New Mandela Square housing project is located over here and in a pocket over there. These sites are each one occupied. The relocation strategy looks at a strategy being developed for the Magwaleni area, as well as the north of Mandela and the Aspat areas. This will then allow decanting onto formalized sites in these two areas, which will open up space in the project's locations, but will allow the project to then proceed to development. There you can see the details of the invasions. I would maybe like to, if the committee is okay with it, just to hand over to Mr. Mayeki to provide a bit more detail from his side as well. Thank you, Chair.
Hello. Good morning. Morning again, Chair and the Portfolio Committee. If you allow me, may I proceed? I'm still connected.
Hello, Chairperson. Hello, Chair.
Yes, Koliswa.
Oh, okay.
I've had a load shedding. I was disconnected.
Mr. Mayeki wanted to add on the presentation, Chair.
Okay. Mr. Mayeki.
Good morning again, Chair and the committee. Thank you for the opportunity. Maybe what we wanted to add on as a municipality is the current processes and probably the possible timelines for us to actually implement. Because from the presentation, one can see that every plan now is in place in terms of restructuring the entire area. Because in our last meetings, the Portfolio Committee agreed that we should reassess the entire area and then start repackaging programs that will assist everyone in that area. So one of those programs then being the less formalized area should be restructured, for instance, in terms of reblocking. There is some areas there, as you can see in the maps, that are not privately owned. So we will proceed. We cannot proceed now, unfortunately, with reblocking if we have not addressed the issue of the private land. Hence, we have a meeting. We have a meeting with them that is scheduled for the 13th, if I don't remember, with the landowner to discuss the issues and the way forward regarding their land, because we have to proceed with the reblocking in the Mandela North area, because we will need to deliver rudimentary services now while we're dealing with the formalization of the entire area. So after the meeting, then with the landowners, we'll be able to move forward in terms of possible land acquisition, and the process then that will not wait for anything, that will start immediately, is the process of formalizing the area, like submitting the documents to the department and having consultants to package for formalization of the area. Because you will notice the area we will focus for now is the area that is within the the municipal boundaries as per the 2019 special development framework. That is it for now. I will take the questions, and then if there are questions for clarity or any other information. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Can we then get the petitioner? Is it here, Mr. Mangaliso?
Mr. Mangali.
Oh, Mangali. Mr. Mangali, are you here?
Can the presenter remove the presentation?
Seemingly the councillor is not here.
Mr. Mangali?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. What's going on?
Oh, Ukona. Teta Buti.
Chair, you hear me now?
Yes, yes, proceed.
Thank you very much. Can I for giving me an opportunity to on this matter? Let me welcome the portfolio committee and greetings, Chair. Because of time, let me say all protocol observe. Chairperson, let me zoom in on the issue of the today upgrading of informal settlement. But before I zoom in, I want to state that there are different projects in this area. One, it's a new Mandela project that we call 652. That is the project that they're supposed to build houses, the municipality build houses in New Mandela. They hire a contract called Power Construction in 2014. Then up until now, there is nothing happened on that project. We are still waiting for the answers to the municipality. And if you remember, Chairperson, when we went to the site on 4 December, if I'm correct, I did show the portfolio committee which site of those supposed to build these 651 houses. And also I did show the site where that there is an area called North Mandela and Aspat. And then, Chairperson, then we are still waiting for this because they always say they will do a beneficiary in this matter of this contractor. And if you ask, they will say, no, there is no budget and everything. Then, Chairperson, we go to the issue of formalization and upgrading of informal settlement. Let's talk about the Mandela North and Aspat. Those areas are inside the urban edge. Are inside the urban edge of the Breede Valley municipality, as we see on the map there. On the slide, I'm not sure what page of the slide is that. They have a map. That area, it's been there since Chairperson. It's have now Mandela North have 28 8 years, if I'm correct, or more. It's been there so long. Then they hire a NGO called PEP last year to do a formalization of that area and also a Magwaleni area. Then PEP work that side, and we have correct project steering committee. It's there, but now since December until now, we've been waiting because we were waiting for the report from PEP. We never received any report from PEP since December until now. And we don't know that PEP is finished or not. We're still waiting. Maybe it's gonna come back because the community is asking us question, where is PEP now? PEP is done or not? The issue of, and the other issue, Chair, the Breede Municipality, it seems that to us, they don't have any plan in terms of time frame. Remember, the project of 652, it's coming far, but we don't have even a date of when they will start to build housing. So in this issue of upgrading, we sit with the same situation that we don't have a time frame of when they will start. I hear in a report when I read here, because it's the first time I saw that report here in this light of portfolio committee. So I saw they talk about the issue, the blocking, reblocking a plan. I'm not sure, Chairperson, they did have a meeting with the community and agree with the reblocking, because on my understanding, the community is supposed to have a say before we say no, the municipality can continue with the reblocking. We have a similar problem in Mandela, where we have 2-in-1 plot. The issue of reblocking is going to create a problem to us, because we know this when we share the chemical toilets. In a chemical toilet, one toilet, we share 6 family in one toilet. Then when you talk about reblocking, you bring back again the apartheid system, where you create a fight between the residents, between the people that will live on that area. Because when you talk about reblocking, you talk about 5 or 6 houses or 10 houses in one block. They must share maybe toilet and everything. There will be no single plot for a person. That means when you say in terms of South African Constitution, you say that every citizen they must have a right access to service delivery, which means we take out that right to those community, to those people that they will share, they will sit on the reblocking. The issue of Magwaleni, Chairperson, it's been almost 5 years now. We're talking about the same issue of Magwaleni. The municipality said no, it can't put any service delivery. Those are the different areas. Magwaleni, there is nothing. There is no water. There is no chemical toilet. No electricity. So the municipality claiming that those people are in illegally land, private land of the farmer. Then they promise that they write a letter to province. Then the province supposed to answer them if they are willing to buy or not. But now the question we have, Chairperson, if you can zoom in on the map, can I ask you, Chair, to zoom in on the map so that I can show you where we want that. The reason we say we can't left the site of Emakwaleni when we do upgrading, because there is a lot of spaces there at Emakwaleni where when you do upgrading, you took some people that are in that will be on the space of the road where you're supposed to or do the roads there. Then you took those people to that area of Emakwaleni, because there's a lot of spaces there. We don't want a situation where that people remove from New Mandela to Aspat. Now those people sitting without electricity and suffering to get water, they must go to service plot to get water there. Now, Chair, without wasting your time, we need a time frame. I didn't hear to Mr. Mayeki mention the issue of 652 when he speak. I didn't saw in a slide they mentioned the issue of 652. Yes, we have a Transex project that supposed to build houses. They have 8,000 spaces, but that is not a solution. We have 26,000 on a waiting list of Breede Municipality. That tells you if we said that 8,000 is a solution, in that 26,000, we will minus that 8,000, we left with 18,000 people that are on waiting list of Breede Valley. It tells you the Transex is not a solution yet. As much as also the Transex, there's nothing happened there. We're still waiting also the report of the Transex where they're supposed to hand over the houses. They already houses that they built, they already built it, but they did not over to the beneficiaries. So I can't talk about the issue of Transex now. I will only focus on the issue of 652 and the upgrading of informal settlement and the issue of Emakwaleni. And we also feel that, Chair, our municipality is playing politics. Why I'm saying this, Chairperson? It's because of there is an informal settlement that are occupied in Didorens called Gigi Camp. That area is, I'm not sure they have even a 10 years. That area, as we speak now, last year, without they doing upgrading and everything that they plan, they just put electricity in every house in that area. It's an informal settlement area, and it's not in the boundaries of the municipality, but the municipality put electricity because of that ward. It's a ward of the DA. The ward councillor of that ward is the deputy mayor of Breede Valley. So it tells you they playing politics instead of they can service. They can do a service in informal settlement. They must treat all informal settlement equal. I'm not raising this because of I'm choosing the DA, but I'm talking the reality, Chairperson, that if you can check all those areas that they have informal settlement, that the ward councillors of those areas are ANC ward councillors. They refuse to put any service delivery to those areas. But on their areas, they put electricity without anything, without going to hire an NGO to do planning on that area. They just go and put electricity. So we thought, we think that the municipality it's playing, because how can they say they cannot do a service delivery in Emakwaleni, as much as Emakwaleni is not inside the urban edge, but they did in Chichikambi. Let me pause there, Chairperson. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor Mangali. We have a mayor on the line and the city manager. Honorable Mayor. Honorable Mayor or the city manager or anybody is representing municipality.
Chairperson, it's Simbuwe Mayeki.
Okay.
Chairperson in the committee, the mayor is represented by the MMC Housing and the city manager is represented by Mr. Sion Swat, but I don't know now what happened. But I can attempt to answer some of the issues, if you allow me, the issues that are raised by the councillor.
Okay, but when we started, we were told that they are in the meeting. What happened? Because we didn't get an apology that they are leaving.
I don't know. Let me try and request the office of the mayor then to respond. But I see on the panel of attendance, Chairperson is MMC and Mr. Swartz, Sion Swartz is gone again. So I don't see the mayor. That's why I wanted to alert you.
Okay. MMC, can you come in? Who's Mr. Louis Velgemoed?
Hi, Chair. It's the regional planner from the Department of Human Settlements.
Oh, you've raised your hand. What is the issue, sir? I'm still getting municipality to talk to your presentation.
No, I just wanted to respond to the councillor's items that he raised, but I will allow the municipality then to talk. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, Chair. I just received a text from the MMC. She cannot hear anything. I don't know what is the problem. That's what she says. She's struggling to hear anything. No, even she says she's been trying to talk, but she cannot go through.
Okay. A regional manager. Mr. Mikey, so you'll then follow after the regional plan.
Thank you, Chair.
We've lost Mr. Louis Velgemoed. Proceed.
Thank you, ma'am. May I bring the map up again? It was not part of a presentation, but it is part of or I would like to use it to maybe just describe the situation. May I share it, ma'am?
Yes, yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
sir.
Okay, so maybe just to begin and describing the broader situation in terms of informal settlements within the Breede Valley Municipality, there are a number of informal settlements located throughout the Breede Valley Municipality, but the concentration in Worcester itself is by far the most or the highest number of informal structures. Just to note, the GG Camp informal settlement that was mentioned, that is located not on municipal property, but on the National Department of Transport and Public Works property. So there are issues that's being resolved in order to deal with that specific informal settlement. And that is the main reason why the municipality has not yet submitted a follow-up application to the Department for Informal Settlement upgrading on that site. They did submit a previous application to the department, and planning funds was released to proceed with work on that site. But the property issue is still being resolved between the municipality and the National Department for the GG Camp informal settlement. In terms of the area that we're focusing here, that is Zwelathemba in Worcester, and there we can see the Magwaleni informal settlement, which falls outside of the urban edge of Worcester itself. I believe that the spatial planners are aware of this within the municipality, and they will be addressing it in future iterations of a spatial development framework. The problem with this site is it is on private property at this point, and the municipality needs to proceed with a land acquisition application process to acquire that land in order to proceed with the formal upgrading of the site. You will notice that as you progress from the urban edge itself towards the rural area or the cultivated areas, the density of the informal settlement decreases. But that does not mean that there's space. What is happening here is that the individuals are concentrating on this line because this line is where the shared services are currently being located. So to get access, that's why the concentrations are so dramatic there. One of the aspects or one of the issues that needs to be resolved before formal upgrading can occur in this area is the upgrading of the bulk water supply to the site. Currently, the municipality is building additional reservoirs to increase the pressure so that potable water can be provided for this immediate area. The reason why the focus of the municipality and the department in our response to the committee has been to discuss the upgrading of this whole area is because this whole area is the attempt is to plan for it in its totality and not to focus on individual parcels and try and plan those individual parcels. So this area, you'll notice that the discussions include the upgrading of informal settlements, the actual Transhex housing project as well, and other aspects within this area, not just the New Mandela Square housing project that is noted there. So between the department and the municipality, a lot of work has been done to get the baseline planning work in order so that we can proceed with the upgrading of this area to make sure that the bulk infrastructure capacity is there so that one can roll out the upgradings of this area as quickly as possible. At this point, the 652 housing project has been registered at the department. It is a project that application has been submitted to the department, but unfortunately, we cannot proceed to the construction of the final top structures on this site because as I've indicated, the units are occupied and need to be decanted in order to open up space so that one can construct the houses. The decanting space and the relocation strategy still needs to be concluded by the municipality, and there's debates within the municipality and work that needs to happen that Mr. Mayeki may be able to elaborate further on. At present, the municipality is meeting with the department tomorrow on Thursday to talk about extending the contract of the NGOs to facilitate the applications or to help compile specific housing project applications to the department, so that one can proceed with upgrading the informal settlement projects in north of Mandela, as well as Aspat, in these areas specifically. The idea or the strategy is then, once these upgrading plans are in motion, the decanting space can be opened up in these areas to allow for the decanting of the 652 units, and then the systematic construction of the remaining top structures for the 652 project. At present, these have not been listed on the department's business plan for implementation, because we cannot list projects for construction or implementation until such time as all the readiness matrix items have been adhered to. This is a requirement by the national department, and at present we're still working towards that specific item. As soon as that is done, then the project can be listed for implementation funding in the following financial year. Then maybe just to note, the Transx housing project is progressing. We are in the stage where top structures are being constructed, and hopefully the rate at which these houses are constructed will increase systematically in the following financial year to cope with the housing demand. Yes, thank you, Chair. I hope that maybe brought some additional information and for the committee to consider. Thank you.
Mr. Mikey.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, always covered most of the things, but maybe I need to say this. Chair, we reported in the last committee meeting that we've established a steering committee in those areas, and as representatives of each area, as we group them, are part of the steering committee. The ward councillor and some of the ward committees are part of the steering committee. All this information was shared in the committee, and it was minuted. And this was an attempt for us as a municipality to bridge the gap and improve in the communication part. So I'm a bit disappointed now that the councillor comes to this platform and the councillor doesn't know anything. But that's probably the issue we need to resolve in Breede Valley. The issue of reblocking those areas, we know now formalizing the areas within the urban edge will take longer than 2 years at least. So while we are dealing with the formalization, we need to provide more rudimentary services, because as we can see from the presentation that was shared before, the growth in those areas is quite big, and it increases at an alarming rate, because people anticipate, because we have a mega project in Worcester, when then there'll be opportunities, and that's just from my experience as well. So the more you develop, the more people move in the area. So in order for us to move forward, we have to conclude on reblocking so that we can provide more services to everyone in that area. It is based on that we are negotiating with the farmers, because the pockets of land, the private land, there's 4 or 5 mega farmers that are owning those pockets of land. So you need to conclude with all of them in order to move and have agreements in place for us to start providing more services in those areas. So it is quite a process, a process that needs to be concluded. But we have to reblock in order to provide more services, because currently there are no access roads in those areas. And if there are access roads, they are very difficult for service, because once we put services, they need to be serviced, because we don't want to sit in a scenario whereby even our own staff cannot get to those areas and service. This was deliberated fully in the meeting, and we expect all those representatives of those areas as well is to go back to those areas and report. But if it has not been discussed, we as a municipality will then call meetings with those individual areas and further explain to them as to this is the findings from the report that was tabled by the NGO. As for the way forward, we want to implement. That's why we requested that the current work of the NGO can be extended or will be allowed to bring in another NGO to facilitate the process. Because when you have an outside person facilitating the upgrading of informal settlements, it works much quicker because we all know there's a trust deficit between the municipalities or government and generally the people. So it works when you have an outside person that comes in and facilitate the process, and us as a municipality be a stakeholder in the process, and it allows more engagement, and an outside person in the form of an NGO has more time to do all that needs to be done. So we are at that stage where we have to implement now, because all the paperwork is in place. That's all I wanted to add.
Thank you very much. I'll now open for members to talk to the presentation. Members, the progress. I don't see any hands. Okay, thank you very much for the
There are 2 hands,
presentation.
Chairperson.
How? Mr. Mangali and who's
It
that?
was the member first, Ms. Mandisa Makinisi.
Oh, Ms. Mandisa, Honorable Mandisa.
Thanks, Chairperson. I'm not sure. I just want clarity, maybe to the councillor, whether the resolution of the previous meeting, what was resolved in the meeting, according to him, they did not happen. If the official of the municipality is so surprised about what they were doing together with the council, and the issue also to the municipality, what makes them to be difficult to give services to the wards that are not the DA? I think the accusation are very serious. If it's true, for 2017 and 7, when the problem of Mr. Mangane has been identified, why they have to take so long to give our own people the land, regardless if they occupied that land illegally? They can't find one another, maybe, but like a mechanism to try to resolve the problem.
Hello, Chairperson.
Sorry, I'm talking alone. I've muted. Honorable Mangali, let me give honorable members time, then you'll come in. Honorable Tshwane, and then followed by Honorable Dr. Kumalo and Honorable Powell.
Oh, thank you, Chairperson. Ndibulele elithuba. Andiyazi nokuba Chairperson indishile na this process yase Cape Wines in Breede, because it's not a true reflection of the ground, because in that place, that is the high stakes housing in Robertson Road. The things they say is being resolved, but people don't know anything in that side, even though the councillors, because I'm communicating with councillors, the councillors of the EFF in that side, that is the PR councillors, but there is nothing eyenzekayo. I don't know nokuthi mhlawumbi ndishiyekile na, because ndikhumbula sivizithe in that site, kunala site inezindlu ezingavulwanga ezincinci esathi sifuna the construction icacise uba what's going on in that site. And andivanga kakuhle indaba yepetition from Mr. Mangala ukuthi ihambe yamaphi, because akukho nto icacayo uba ihambe yamaphi resolvekile. Only things ensayivayo yila issue yabantu abakwiwadi ze-DA abafuneka baphile comfortable bona, although the people, the entire people of that municipality besa-strugglisha. So ifuna unikwa i-attention kakhulu ke leyo, because when it comes, you are a councillor of ANC, akukho nto ithi isa inkonzo only kubantu be-ANC. So the councillors of DA is doing the wrong things. Mandibulele, Chairperson. Thank you. Andiyazi noba ndiyavakala na, andikwazi in-mute, andiyabona kwenzekani ngoku kule.
Yeah, you can hear you, Honorable Member.
Oh,
You are
okay,
followed
okay.
by Honorable Powell. No, Honorable Dr. Khumalo, and then followed by Honorable Powell, then Honorable Chris. Proceed,
Chair. Good morning,
Honorable.
colleagues. Can I go ahead, Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thanks, Chair. Good morning, colleagues, and thanks for the presentation. Chair, I'll be very short, and maybe just to build up on Honorable Magesini in terms of her input. Chair, I think aspersions were cast around services obviously being offered to DA residents, so to speak, or a ward being governed by a DA or that has a DA ward councillor. And I think those are serious allegations, Chairperson. If we can request the councillor to please perhaps share whatever evidence that he has to that regard, because we do all know how service delivery chain goes in the municipalities. So if he can highlight within that chain where mischief has happened, it would be upon our responsibility as an oversight body to ensure that we address that with the strongest terms. So for me at this point in time, without playing politics, Chair, I would just like to please request through you that the councillor can please, provide the committee either within 48 hours exactly where mischief happened or where steps were not followed, in terms of diverting the services to DA-run municipalities. Also, taking into consideration whatever reports may have been passed by that council in as far as the budget is concerned, because he would be a part of that council and would know what was approved. And if it was approved by council, then it would be uncalled for to say that the DA is only servicing DA-run wards. So, Chair, just from that light, if you can allow that we have that perhaps within 48 hours. Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Powell.
Thanks, Chairperson. So thank you to the officials for the presentation. I think, Chair, on a sort of starting note, that the presentation that's been given today, if one looks at the images, it demonstrates in vivid technicolor detail the extent of illegal land invasions and the massive resourcing challenges that is leading to, especially in our district and local municipalities where resources are finite. We did hear, even in the Western Cape's Metropolitan Municipality, the City of Cape Town, last week, that because of the rapid growth of informal settlements, the City of Cape Town alone needs an additional 500 million rands worth of both capital and operating budget on ISUPG and USDG in order to provide adequate basic services to newly established informal settlements. And I think that it's prudent here for the committee to, as I've made these calls once before, but to start deliberating towards an effective strategy to combating illegal land invasions. Now, there's a conflation of issues, and there's some potentially, in my subjective view, mischievous politics being played in this meeting. I support Dr. Khumalo's recommendation that substantive evidence backing the allegations that the DA ward councillor doesn't provide services on the basis of politics, that evidence be given to our committee so that we can investigate, but more so that all of us, I think, are quite clear that this isn't a political issue, this is a resourcing issue. And if we are going to tackle this ongoing challenge, we need to start looking at amendments to the necessary legislation and requesting of the department a comprehensive plan to combat illegal land invasions. And I'd also just like to say that I don't want the officials to have to respond to any of the political allegations regarding political parties. I think that that is the realm of the MMC needs to respond to those allegations, not the officials. And on that note, Chairperson, I can see that the MMC is having technical difficulties in audibility. She's put a message into the group to say, or the council has put a message in the group to say that they can't hear the MMC, or the MMC can't be heard. So, Chairperson, perhaps the MMC could provide written responses to this committee on those allegations once we have received evidence substantiating. And then I think that it's prudent that this committee makes a bold statement to say that where informal or where land is illegally invaded, all municipalities, whether they be metropolitan, district, or local municipalities, have got pipelines of delivery, because the grant funding simply does not exist to provide newly invaded land parcels with basic services. And I think that we need to take cognizance of that so that we can reject mischievous comments made by certain political actors that the lack of servicing to invaded land is as a result of politics. That's not fair. And I think that we should all reject those sorts of sentiments. So yeah, just to recap, if the MMC can please respond to political allegations in writing once we've received evidence, and that the officials can respond to substantive questions with regards to the presentation itself and not the politics of this matter. Thanks, Chair.
Honorable Chris.
No, thanks, Chair. I'm very worried, man, and disturbed about the Mabopane, where there are no toilets, no even chemical toilets. I want the city to assist me. How do they deal with that situation in the area of operation where people are not even toilet altogether? The other issue is the issue of too much representatives instead of the rightful people who are supposed to be here, who are by constitution or by law are given right to take decisions, so that when they respond to us, really, it shows seriousness of what we are doing. It can't be correct that we have too many representatives. That is the mayor representative, the MMC representative. The MMC further knew that, including the mayor, that there will be this meeting. It was their responsibility to find a rightful spot so that we really get to the bottom of this matter and resolve it. We can't be postponing these matters as if we just live for these things and things that are done intentionally. We were in one of the meetings where the Department of Human Settlement around Western Cape attended that meeting. And the question of anti-land invasion units was emphasized. Why do we still want to come and talk about illegal land invasion, whereas they've got anti-land invasion units that's supposed to deal with that? So people are there, people need services, people must be provided with the services. We said we want to govern, let's govern. So the whole report from the chair, if you go through it carefully, is much of trying to impress, but not necessarily dealing with the challenges on the ground. And that is worrisome. Thank you, Chairperson.
Hello, Chairperson.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Mangali.
Thank you very much, Chair. Chair, if the committee allow me to give a proof or evidence, I can do that even in 12 hours, not 48 hours. 48 hours will be too much for me. But Chair, the issue of raised by Mr. Mayeki say that the project steering committee knows everything. It's not true. I said, Chair, here, I'm not sure of maybe my English is not correct. I said here,
I've lost Mr. Mangali. Is it my network or all of us?
Chair, councillor and the project steering committee input are here in this
Honorable
committee.
Councillor.
This is the
Honorable Councillor, we're losing you at some point.
You hear me now clear, Chair? I don't know this. I'm not sure the
Yes.
signal is bad.
Okay. I've heard you on the when you are saying you can send the evidence within 12 hours, not 48 hours. And then you were saying the issues that were raised by Mr. Maiki, so it's not true that the steering committee knows. And then we lost you from there.
Okay, I said, Chair, if you remember, they said the NGO will give a report on what they did. They done in that area. Myself and this the first time now we saw the report on the screen. But what I'm also asking, Chair, is that we must can I get a copy of this report? Because I don't have this report, and then I can share with the project steering committee and the ward committee. In terms of Honorable Khumalo, Chair, I don't want to dwell too much. Although they understand that the Breede Valley Municipality, it's led by DA political party. So on that note, Chair, I can quote you I raised the issue of electrical problem here. That they said, one, they said Emagwaleni, it's outside urban edge of Breede Valley. They can't do any service delivery there. Then two, you Chikambi. Emagwaleni, it's where the councillor, it's an ANC councillor. You go to Ward 5, at GG. That area is not in the boundary of the municipality. Sorry, Chair.
Proceed, Mr. Mangal.
Okay, they put Eletria is not inside the urban edge of the municipality. Again, we go to the informal settlement that the councillor is DA. You went
I'm not sure whether it's my network because I've got load shedding.
Not sharing
I'm struggling to
a
hear
chemical
Mr.
toilet
Mangal.
as much as in our area, one toilet they share by 6 families. You hear me now, Chair?
Yes. Mr. Mangali, can I then request that because we are unable to. Personally, you are cutting. I'm not sure. Maybe let me check with members. Members, do you hear Mr. Mangali correctly?
No, Chairperson, we're hearing the same thing that you are. It is cutting.
Mr. Mangali, because we are struggling to get some of the information as you are doing, as you said that you can provide the proof within that 12 hours, we give you 48 hours to raise those issues that you are raising with us, and then and we have a problem with the MMC is unable to talk to us because he's trying to speak, but there is a technical clash, which can happen to any one of us. We can then actually get them to respond to those issues, and we'll visit again. Is unfortunately it's just unable to get MMC technical manager. The portfolio committee took its trouble, came to Breede Valley to go and visit these areas. Honorable Tshwane was part of us, if I'm not mistaken. But the councillor, none of the councillors pitched up in that meeting except Mr. Mangali. The officials, we were with the officials of province, the council, the mayor, the speaker, whoever that is responsible in that municipality didn't attend that oversight that we had in Breede, which is becoming a problem to us to, instead of us resolving the matters who are going around the circle. We are going to request to Mr. Mangali to submit those issues in writing. We'll get the municipality to respond in writing. We will visit this area again, which we must actually, the council, there must be commitment to avail themselves so that we are dealing with those issues. And Sabelo, I think what you need to do is to even to finalize the report of the visit, so that when we deal with this matter, we have even the report, the report of our visit, and so that as Honorable Doctor has proposed, we are able to deal with these issues. I'm going to ask us to, and when we visit again, we'll then need the national department to be part of us, because there we had province only. And would need the executive mayor or people who take responsibility, who are governing the municipality, to be part of us, so that we are able to resolve the issue, the issue of the petition, and and deal with even with the allegation. Secondly, would the provincial government, as we welcome to your presentation, Mr. Mangali raised the issue of the time frame, which indeed there is no time frame in all the issues that you are saying you're going to do. If we can get the time frame on what, whether it's 20 years, whether it's 10 years, whether it's 2 years or 1 year, 6 months, we must have the time frame, understand what is it that you're going to do, when and how and what time, so that as we engage with national department, we know which direction we take on the matter itself. Can we agree on that? Honorable Ntombi, Honorable Malibaja, and then Honorable Doctor. Is it the legacy hands, Doctor? Dr. Kumalo.
Legacy
your
hand,
is up. Okay.
Yeah, she says it's legal, comrade.
And yourself is legacy hand?
No, mine is to support what you are proposing, comrade Chair.
Okay. Proceed.
Comrade Chair, I support what we have proposed. I'm fine with that.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable Malimatsa. Regional Director. Mr. Lewis.
Thank you, Chairperson. We'll definitely discuss the issues with the municipality. We have monthly technical engagements where we talk about the actual technical rollout, the specific project application process that will be followed, and that meeting is due to happen within the next week or so, and we will definitely then be in a position to respond to the timeframes or the estimated timeframes to project implementation. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. With that note, we want to thank you very much for availing yourselves, and I must emphasize the availability of since we have started with this process, we have not actually get the view of the municipality itself, the mayor and his executive council. And today, fortunately, MMC Palesa joined us, but he had a technical glitch. So we will actually follow up on the matter and we'll refer back to you when we're coming to Western Cape. Sabelo and colleagues, we could make a special request to the chair of chairs that we want to finalize the petition, but there are issues that we have to verify. Though we have visited municipality, the municipality didn't pitch up. We would have to go back there because for us to resolve this petition, we have to have more information around it, and so that we can compile the report to Parliament. Thank you very much, honorable members. With that note, that was the last item on the agenda. I think, Kwaliswa, do you have, can you flag the program so that I can see where are we now?
Okay, Chair.
No, I've already done the closing remarks in terms of this matter. And I want to indicate that our intention, honorable members, is to close these petitions before our term. And therefore, we want to employ everybody who is responsible should be able to help us to resolve these matters before the end of the term. And thank you very much for attending the meeting, honorable members. The meeting is closed.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair.